Hey, what is going on YouTube? It is GeneralTarheel bringing you APA draft recap video with my fellow commissioners, including Miticus.
What's up, guys?
Panther.
What is going on, guys?
And LynxForte.
Yo! What's up?
So today we're here just to give you the top 3 teams that we really liked out of all of the drafts. We're just going to go around, starting from the bottom 3, and then we're going to make our way up to the number ones in our opinion. So with that being said, who are we going to have start off right here?
I vote Miticus goes first.
Hey, I can go first. That's all right.
First, man.
All right, so going from reverse order, least to top, 3 to 1, my third favorite team that was drafted in APA Season 3 this season was aDrive's team of the St. Louis Rampardos. Thought it was really cool how Dan chose Mega Houndoom in the last round to kind of go with his Torkoal for a very, very fierce Sun team. I thought it was pretty interesting that he took Komodo so early, but then it kind of makes sense now. One thing that did notice on his team, though, he has no normal types and no ice types, and I thought that was maybe not so great. I know that it has been said before that you can kind of spam ghost moves towards him, except for that Mega Houndoom that will probably come every week. But that's besides the point. But yeah, very good team. He's got Celebi. He has Nidoking, which is a powerhouse. Cresselia, which is just, you can't kill it. It's impossible. And Celesteela, which is also pretty daggone bulky. Kind of like a next level Skarmory. So yeah.
Very much so. Very much so.
So
yeah,
I
think that's a fair choice. I think he's got a good team. Panther, do you want to give us your third pick?
Yeah, you would ask for this one next, Dan. So with my third team that I have overall rated is, of course, our very own LynxForte Dan and the Chelsea Cloysters. I think he has a very, very solid draft overall, being able to take the mid-round Mega Low Bunny, being one of the fastest Megas in the format, having great access to setup move and power-up punch, awesome priority, and just really being able to spam high jump kick and its normal stab moves. He has a great Cleric and Sylveon, very good Dragon, Fairy Steel Core with Latias and the Empoleon as well. Great entry hazard setters with Crook, a nice Pursuit Trapper as well with it. Just really some good power with mons like Gengar and Staraptor, along with that bird spam there with Talonflame. I think this team is just really well-rounded, and I think Dan's going to be able to use it really, really well this season.
This guy's trying to put my analysis to shame over here.
That's right. Mikey,
it's like, I barely know what types these guys are. And y'all are like, ooh, entry hazards.
What nice colours in his team. Okay, Ben, do you want to give us your third?
Yep. Alright, so for my number 3 of the overall, I decided to pick CrimsonCBad and the Detroit Steelwings. My reasoning for that is I love his offense. This team is so threatening from an offense point of view, and I just love running and gunning sometimes with teams, absolutely wall-breaking through fat ones, and he can do that. He is amazing setup in like Excadrill, Gyarados, of course, Calm Mind, Latios, Cloyster with Shell Smash, all this good setup, like Dragon Dance Mega Tyranitar as well, and just Sand is such strong offense as well. Excadrill being very scary in Sand with the +2 speed and whatnot. And he also has amazing Z users in Latios and Gyarados, because Gyarados can absolutely sweep with Moxie with a Flyinium Z or Water Tinium Z. Just absolutely sweeping through after he gets the Moxie boost. Very similar to Salamence, and it's going to be slept on, I feel like, because Gyarados is not drafted too often, I feel. So it's definitely a dangerous mon to watch out for. And also he has like double Intimidate and Arcanine and Gyarados, which is always helpful, considering most Sand teams are very weak to fighting coverage. Even though he does patch it up very well, it's still nice to have a 2 nice Intimidate mons to help out with that. And he also has very reliable, good pricing, low tier bulk in Aromatisse and Golbat. I feel like Golbat's just too fat with the Aviola and whatnot, and Aromatisse getting a Wish Pass and stuff like that, pretty nice. Even though like Wish Protect does kind of stall with his Sand turns, and like the only thing I don't like about Crimson's team, is my opinion, is the hazard setters. It's just Excadrill and Tyranitar for Stealth Rocks, which is kind of unfortunate. But other than that, I just love the offense that he has on his team.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think Sand is probably one of the more dependable the terrains or weathers that you can get if you're going to build a team around it. Just in my opinion.
You drafted Hail, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in with my third pick for the best draft, and in my opinion, third best draft is Panther and his Carolina Clefables. Now, I'm just reading through his team now. Mew, Clefable, Ferrothorn, Nidoqueen, and then like Blastoise. 5 of the bulkiest mons you'll see around. Like,
and Galvantula, right?
Yeah, with that incredible bulk. I mean, you have that bulk, and then obviously Mew's it's his nickname, Utility. It can do so much, it can be more offensive. And you combine that with like Mega Aerodactyl, Incineroar, Galvantula, Linoon, and Primeape. I think it's just such a nice... It's just so much bulk supporting quite decent offense as well. And obviously with web support, Mons an offensive Mew behind webs does really, really well. And Mega Aerodactyl is obviously outspeeds most of the game anyway. And Kyurem as well is supported by that as well. So, yeah, Panther, I'd say, got a pretty solid team there. And it's the sort of team that I know you're going to. So, yeah, that's my choice.
All right, guys. So for our second overall picks here, Miticus, you want to start us off with that?
I guess so. It may sound a little redundant, but for my number 2 choice, I went with the Clefables, coached by the one and only Panther. So, I mean, Dan just said it. He's got a great team. Something that's going to cause his opponents issues is definitely those webs. I think Nidoqueen and Kyurem also benefit from that web. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. He did a really good job drafting his team as far as making sure he covered all his types except for Ghost. He did miss out on his Ghost type. But that's a really well-rounded team.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Do sincerely appreciate that there. So for my second team...
Sorry, man. I'm just saying you're getting a nice ego boost there.
I am. Two in a row. I'll take it. So for my second overall team, I chose none other than aDrive and the St. Louis Rampardos. Just kind of piggybacking off what Mike has said to start things off with. With the first overall pick, he took Celesteela, and that's just such a hard mon to bring down in this format when you're kind of limited on your fire and electric types and your way to deal with that thing. It can just stall teams out, or it can be an offensive set. Really, really versatile. His next overall picks were Como and then the Mimikyu. Como, we'll have to see how he uses it. I know it got the boost this generation with close combat and whatnot. Made it a little bit better. I think it may have been a little bit more new toy syndrome on that one, but Mimikyu is a really good mon. Speaking from experience, getting swept by it in Season 2, courtesy of Polymac. But he has a lot of threats on his team. Nidoking, Lycanroc Dusk, and a mon that I love, Mega Houndoom. Obviously in Sun, that's going to do a whole lot of work. I really like the lower tier picks as well that kind of partner with like Celesteela, like Lantern, being able to come in and sponge those fire hits or run Volt Absorb and take those electric hits for it. So I think Dan really supported his top overall draft pick in Celesteela really well, and I think he's really going to be able to use it because we know how creative of a battler Dan is. I think he's just going to be able to support it really well. So the two Dans, 3 and 2 right here.
Having a little Dan biased, I see.
That is right.
All right, so for my second overall, Panther kind of interrupted the streak, as I did as well, go for his team with the Carolina Clefables. Yeah, what else to say after 2 people already mentioned? It's just the team is so bulky with Panther, really enjoys, as we know. With Mew, Clefable, Ferrothorn, Nidoqueen, Blastoise, Dan mentioned, they are all so fat, and it is so true. And the overall draft is just so reliable. Like, these are some very reliable mons. Mew being able to do anything, Clef can be set up or just sponge hits from offensive mons. Ferrothorn giving you all the hazards, Nidoqueen offensive hazards, Mega Arrow. Mega Arrow is the only non-reliable just because it does have to hit Stone Edge, but other than that, it is a great mon with speed tier and offensive capabilities. Kyurem can be amazing offensive like Specs or Subburst and whatnot. Blastoise is one of the most reliable spinners in the game. Incineroar is great for its dark typing and whatnot. Galvantula is still one of the most reliable web setters, even though we did get some new ones in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Linoon, very reliable for the Belly Drum suite at Under the Radar. And then lastly, Primeape. It's a pretty solid fighting type for its tiering, so it's just such a reliable team. And like I went over through all the picks, he does have every hazard in the game, being spikes, toxic spikes, stealth rocks, and webs, which is so tough for mods or some teams to deal with. It really forces like defog almost like every week. And if you can get rid of their defogger, or if the opponent just under preps, they are going to have a very hard time versus this. Hazards are always key in battle. I always try to point that out. And then lastly, he does have very solid setup in Mew, Clefable, Mega Aerodactyl with Home Claws, and then Linoon with Belly Drum, of course. So it's just a really well-rounded team that I know that Panther can just use well, and that's why I decided to pick it up. But the only thing that I don't like about it is his speed tiering, because his speeds above 100 are just Galvantula at 108, and then Mega Aerodactyl at 150, which is a pretty wide range.
Yeah. What would make this team a little bit more annoying is if his Cineroar had his hidden ability, because then his team would just be even more bulky.
If it had Intimidate, that would be on my team. I love that one.
That's going up a tier when it gets Intimidate.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe.
It's a good mod. It's really slow, but you know what? Bandit and Cineroar is going to hit hard behind webs, so I'll take it.
That's true.
It's true. And to round off the second choice picks, unfortunately, no new teams entering the fray at this point. I've gone for CrimsonCBad and his Detroit Steelwings. Similar to Ben, I absolutely love the court, and I love Excadrill Mega Tyranitar. I think that just it looks, obviously, to the sand support and everything, but just as an offensive core, it's just always been really tempting to me. And the amount of times I've tried to draft it and been sniped, every time I draft Excadrill, someone takes Mega Tyranitar, and I get so upset. And having the support of it with Latios, Arcanine, and Gyarados, which are like three of my favorite Pokemon. So like it's just a team of ones I absolutely love, and they just work all so well together. Obviously, Latios and Gyarados providing that ground immunity, which Excadrill and Tyranitar struggle with. And then you've got like ones like Breloom, Aromatisse, Mismagius, Golbat, and Electivire, which are all just again so reliable, and I think he's got really good value out of the rest of his picks. And then obviously, you have the best Mon in the game on his team, which is the wonderful Cloyster, as we all know and love. And unfortunately, it does give it first place in my team, in my picks, and it also kills me that I can't have it on my team. I might have to contact Crimson and see if he wants to trade. But yeah, that's my choice for second.
Understandable. So lastly, we're just going to finish it up with our number one of the overall drafts. Once again, we're going to go to our boy Miticus and see what he likes best.
Yeah, so my number one guy, I think he has the most well-rounded team, in my opinion, like as far as the threats that it has. But I went with SilverSmasher and the Floridian Typhlosions. I think he has one of the best megas in the game, Mega Gallade, with two of the best offensive typings, in my opinion, Psychic and, not Dark, Psychic and Fighting. That thing is just super, super scary after a Swords Dance. Then he has Garchomp, which is terrifying in itself. Shaman, Crobat, Snorlax, Selgor, Carbink, Heatran, which is, I think, in my opinion, a pretty decent mon. I've enjoyed using it. Fraligator, Cofagrigus, and Rotom Frost. I'm not a huge fan of his lower tier mons, but I do think his mons in tiers 1 through 3 are pretty decent. Actually, very decent, and I think his Mega is just incredibly threatening. He's got his hazards. His removal could be a little bit better, but I think it's a very good team. He did miss out on drafting a Dark type, but I don't really see that hindering him too much. My biggest thing is I think Mega Gallade is terrifying. I think Garchomp is terrifying. And I think Heatran can be a wall if it wants to be. It's got a lot of bulk.
And I just want to point out for the people that don't know, SilverSmasher had Garchomp last season in APA Season 2, and he picked up 25 kills with that. Yeah. So we definitely want to watch out for him and not allow that to happen.
I got a few of those kills, I will say.
Okay, but you're not getting credit. It's all
That's absolutely right.
Fair enough.
All right,
So,
Panther, here you go.
All right, so to go around the commission board again here, so my number one overall draft is, of course, GeneralTarheel and the Charlotte Charizards. Almost called you the Carbinks, But I know better than that. But as you can see, I'm just going to read through this draft real quick. Landorus Therian form. Mega Charizard X, Toxapex, Togekiss, Cobalion, Greninja, Electros, Gourgeist, Komala, Piloswine, and Alakazam. So, obviously, the first two mons that jump out to you, Landorus T, Megazard X, he was able to get both of those in the draft. I mean, just two of the best mons in the format. He was able to get both of them in a 16-team draft, able to get Landorus T at like the 12th pick or something like that. Just absolutely ridiculous. Don't know how he did it, but he did. Landorus, in my opinion, is probably one of the best mons in League format, if not the best. And then Megazard X is got to be one of the best megas in League format. And then just if you look throughout the rest of his draft with Togekiss, Cobalion, Greninja, I know Toxapex catches some hate, but, it's just such a bulky mon that can come in and sponge hits, and I also know how well Tarheel can use a regenerated type mon. He has lower to a bulk with Gourgeist and Piloswine, reliable removal with Togekiss and Komala, good entry hazard setters with Lando and Cobalion and Toxapex. He's not getting set up on and swept, having that Sash, Magic Guard, Alakazam. There's so many different types of mons. Electros even in Tier 4 being just such a reliable pivot. I mean, he's got a little bit of everything on his team. So just really, really in love with Tarheel's draft here. And, definitely looking forward to see how he uses this season, except for Week 6 or if we meet in the playoffs.
Putting pressure on me, dude. I don't like it.
Hey, look, you do what you need to do against my division.
That's true. All right. So as for my first overall to go with one of the fellow commissioners again, being LynxForte Dan and the Chelsea Cloysters.
Dang, my heart dropped for a second. I was like, it's my chance. It's my time.
Okay, no votes. But Dan's team, it is just so scary. First of all, I might be a little biased with the Crocodile just because I love Crocodile. But just Lopunny plus Bird Spam. That is so scary on a draft. And at this moment, I am building for Dan for Week 2, and I don't like it. So that's one thing. Like this is really in my head right now. Also, Mega Lopunny, he has such great support with it in Crocodile and Gengar, absolutely just being a proper check to Psychic types. Gengar, of course, being weak, but if it does get the outspeed, it's just going to blow them back. Crocodile is an amazing Pursuit Trapper. Apart from Weavile, Crocodile, in my opinion, is the best Dark type in Draft League format. He also has amazing bulk in Sylveon, Latias, and Polion. You can even run Crocodile bulky with Intimidate. Cryogonal for Spadef, Regirock absolutely walls things. Not only are these so bulky, but none of them are passive. They all have a good attack stat, whether that be special attack or physical, of course. Being like none of them allowed to be like setup fodder, like you might say Toxapex is. And then he also has good wish support to go along with those mons if they don't have their own healing, like an Empoleon or Regirock, because he can wish pass with Sylveon or Latias. And he also has solid Cleric with Sylveon as well. Latias can even healing wish into Lopunny if that gets low, or some other Pokemon order from the like potential sweep. Like healing wish in a Staraptor after already killed like 2 mons with Brave Bird is definitely something he can do. Just so Staraptor is back up to full, that gun is loaded and ready to get a kill. He also has amazing rocks and amazing removal. Crocodile, Empoleon, Regirock, all amazing rockers. And then amazing defog in Latias, Empoleon, Rotom-Mow, Cryogonal getting spin and defog, and then even Talonflame and Staraptor, if you want to include those both, get defog as well, which is actually pretty crazy. Having like half his roster having hazard removal option. And then he also has so much momentum in his roster. He has U-Turn and Mega Lopunny and Sylveon, even though he can only bring 1 baton passer per game, I believe.
It's getting really crowded in here with how big Dan's head is getting right now.
Hey man, I talked for too long. I'm sorry. I just love this draft.
It's getting harder to breathe.
He's put more thought into this draft than I have.
For real.
Dan's like, all these ideas that I'm getting.
Yeah. This is going to help me Week 2, man. It's going to help me.
Don't interrupt me now, Miticus. Along with the momentum, he does have U-Turn. Once again, his Talonflame and Staraptor being a great, like, amazing bird spam pivots as well. And then lastly, Volt Switch with Rotom Cut. He's like every momentum move possible, and it just goes so well with his team, in my opinion. And it honestly just breaks apart fat teams, because he does have the powerhouses in like Staraptor and Lopunny as well as Gengar. And he can also trick. Like, he has a lot of trick options. like with Latias and Gengar and stuff like that, to really cripple like fat Pokemon that either rely on like an Eviolite or Black Sludge or something like its sort, leftovers. And it really limits it to what they can do. And lastly, like I already mentioned, the Wish Pass just allows for like longevity of the team to where it's really hard to wear them down over time. I have like very few problems with this. The only thing I don't see on his roster is Spikes and T-Spikes, but that really doesn't hinder him at all, in my opinion. So that is why it is the best draft. And I'm just going to stick with that. Dan, I hope your head is not like completely off balance now and you're about to fall out of your chair.
It's okay. I've got a big shoulders for it to sit on. So all right. And I'm going to wrap it up with my first choice for the best draft. And it's a team that I wouldn't normally like. It's a team that I wouldn't normally like. And I have like a couple problems with it, but the team that I'm choosing is...
Go on, Dan. Go. Oh, man.
Sorry, Michael. Sorry, man. No votes. But it's the Seattle Drizzlers. And I don't like rain teams at all. Like, I don't like them. Preach. It's just the best rain team I've ever seen. And the thing about it is, I don't agree with the order that he's drafted it in. Like Mega Swampert second round, I think that's really early. It sort of reminds me of do you remember D-Pad's draft from season 2?
He did that as like a meme. Like he drafted Pelipper and Politoed. Let's be real, he did that as a joke. But
exactly, Mega Swampert and Pelipper as the wheel round 1 and 2. Like it just reminds me of that. But then you just look at the whole team and you just get further and down, and the value that he has in his last picks: Registeel round 11, Miltank round 10. Like that's stupid.
That's everybody else's fault.
That is absolutely crazy. That is just ridiculous. Such good value in his picks. And then you look at sort of the rain core that he actually has. He has Politoed. I mean, you could argue that Pelipper would be a better option, but Politoed is there. It's there to give rain, and that's what it's going to do. Pairing that with Mega Swampert, obviously with the Swift Swim, Tornadus T being able to hit Hurricanes. Instead of having possibly going for air slashes, it can just run Hurricane, obviously at 100% accuracy. Amoonguss and Raikou being like bulky grass and electric types, it's one less threat that one of his opposition could have. And Raikou then being able to run Thunder in the rain as well. I just think it gives it another option. It gives it that much more power. And then you look at Goodra, which obviously having Sap Sipper to deal with grass types, which supports Mega Swampert as well, and Hydration as well, so you can run like Rest. I think he's just got so many options, and that rain core supported by his lower tier mons like Miltank, Registeel. He's got Swiftwind, Kabutops as well, and then Heracross and Gardevoir, which again are awesome tier 3s to just support that rain core. I just think it's amazing. I think I would love to use this team. I really, really would. I think it's just such an amazing rain team, and I'm looking forward to see how he does with it this season.
Yeah, and then one thing I just want to point out about the rain is that this is like number 4 in my opinion, but his rain team is actually very reliable, forced to run rain. Like Tornadus T, Amoonguss, Goodra, Raikou, Gardevoir, Heracross, Miltank, Registeel, those are all amazing out of rain. That is like 3/4 of his draft right there. That's good out of rain. So he's not even forced to bring it every week, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's also true. So yeah, guys, that's this is our little, I don't know what we called it. It's just our little draft recap.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it needs any huge distinguished name. It's just, it is what it is.
I think we need like a big title, like with massive font, just to get like, all the attention.
Oh yeah.
4 guys have draft fun.
Maybe put like red arrows on the screen.
Yeah, but I think, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to have this go up. This should hopefully go up Saturday, January the 6th, which is the day before the battles go up for week 1. And then we're going to try to do a little league update, I guess, after week 3, week 6, week 9, and then have a little something going into the postseason as well. So stay tuned for that. Anything that you guys need to add or feel like needs to be added?
I would just like to say if they are interested in this, or if they want to try and help out, just please let us know in the comments, or any advice just for it to be a little bit better, because we just try focusing on the league. We're not the best analysts probably, but
no, I'm an awful analyst.
I'm an amazing analyst. I don't know what you're talking about. But
you have the face for YouTube, Dan.
And you have the voice for it, my friend. You have the voice for it.
Thank you.
So good luck to any coaches who are listening to us right now, who are in the APA. We thank you for joining us this season, and then the fans who are just hearing about us. we hope that you enjoy the season and how it unfolds. And like I said, keep your eyes on the APA YouTube channel. There'll be a couple videos coming out here and there. Hopefully this video you enjoyed, and hopefully you'll enjoy the ones that you see in the future as well. And make sure you go and subscribe and check out all the other coaches in the APA. There's some really terrific guys, and I know that they would really appreciate your support.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, guys. Well, if y'all don't have anything else to add, I think we'll just go ahead and wrap this thing up, because I know Dan is probably sleepwalking at this point.
3 a.m. Going strong.
All right, guys. We'll actually, he's the only non-North Carolinian on this call. But all right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.
We'll see ya.